When Mario Kart World was announced a few months ago, I thought it looked amazing. The idea of an open world Mario Kart game captured my imagination. I had no idea where they could go from 8 because that seemed like perfection, and the answer was so obvious. You don't try and top 8, you do something completely different, and the open world concept intrigued me. The way you could mix and match the courses, the way that there's little intermission areas going from track to track. It seemed like it was going to be a slam dunk. Like, there's no way I wasn't going to like this. It's going to be amazing. But have you ever been looking forward to something and then as soon as you get it, somewhere in the back of your brain you realize that something's off, but you're not quite ready to admit it? Like, yeah, this is a little weird, or I'm playing the game and it's pretty good, but I have a few complaints. Only I kept playing, and I kept finding things to complain about until I realized that I had more complaints than I had things that I liked about it. And I guess it all starts with the new free roam mode. It does live up to the name. You can drive around, but there's nothing to do. Okay, maybe that's not fair. There's P-switch missions and hidden coins to find. But I should say there's nothing substantial to do. The missions are fun for what they are, but the incentive structure behind them is fucked. And there's no way to keep track of the ones you've already done, which is just horrendous. Why? And you don't get anything for doing them either. You get stickers? What the hell are stickers good for? They're not how you unlock new characters or carts or anything. So why bother? Is there even a reason to touch free roam aside from getting the costumes, or maybe to take pictures? You unlock costumes by eating this food, which you can do during normal races as well, but the easiest way to get all of them is in free roam mode. But it's not like you're gonna get them by exploring. If you're doing free roam mode just to get the costumes, what it devolves into is finding a food stand with a specific food type, running into it with one character, eating the food, getting the new costume, and then turning around, then switching characters, then scrolling the menu all the way back to the left, because for whatever reason, each costume has its own character slot, picking the next guy, and then running over to the same food stand to eat the same food again and again and again. The free roam has potential, but right now it just feels so pointless. There's the same Toads, Yoshis, and Shy Guys scattered everywhere, which are not even interactable. They don't do anything. As a result, the whole thing just feels empty. Free roam seemed like the thing I was going to be doing the most of, but now that I've gotten my hands on it, I can't imagine really ever touching it again. Which is disappointing, but it would be fine if at least the racing was solid, but I'm sorry, it's just not. I need to be careful and not just point out differences, because different doesn't necessarily mean bad. But I got complaints with the racing too. Starting with, why is the auto steer on by default again? Why? Nobody wants this. Right away in your first race, you notice that the drifting feels completely different than it used to, which fine, whatever. It's a lot looser here. You can't make nearly as tight of turns, which is fine, I guess, because the tracks are much wider than they were before. But that's exactly the problem. These wide tracks with incredibly long straightaways, they're boring. Most of the time, they're way too wide. I think Nintendo thought this made sense because if there's going to be twice as many players, you should have a wider road. But this isn't like driving in real life. We don't need more lanes. It's not like all of the carts are right next to each other in a line. We're all in a jumbled mess, not fanned out. And look at how slow this is. I'll compare it to 8. This is Moo Moo Meadows at 150cc in both Mario Kart World and Mario Kart 8. Look at the difference! Look at this! It's like night and day. And notice how in Mario Kart 8 I have a significant lead. Something that never ever happens in World. This has got to be the most rubber-banded Mario Kart game I've ever played. Nobody ever lags behind, nobody ever gets ahead of the pack, especially when you're playing online. I feel like I'm at Dave & Buster's playing the arcade game when I go online. It's completely random. Everybody's always in one giant pack. As a result, most of the race doesn't matter. It's pretty much just what happens in the final lap. If the race even has laps, that's another thing. Most of the time, you don't even get laps. You go around the track one time, because they count the drive up to the track as a lap. Actually, they count it as 2 laps. That or the course is designed in a way where it changes every time, so you're never really learning the layout. I like my Mario Kart races where the first go around the track is just to get familiar. Then the second one, you're a little more comfortable. And then the third one is when you actually try and win the race. But here it's like you don't get any of that. Or if you do, it's rare. When I'm online, it feels like the results of the race have nothing to do with how well I actually did, like how well I maneuvered around the track, and had more to do with just what items I got at the end. It sucks. I might as well just be rolling dice or flipping a coin. You'll be in like 2nd or 3rd place and getting passed by bullet bills. Shit like that should never happen. Having 24 players sounds cool on paper, but in practice it just results in there being twice as many items being thrown around. Every race feels like it has at least 3 to 4 blue shells. It's like crabs in a barrel. And this problem is even worse in knockout mode, because it's so volatile. You can get blue shelled and fall from 1st all the way to 10th place. And then what? In knockout mode, you're just fucked. There's no time to recover. Not if there's a gate right there. You can just lose straight away. Aside from a few standouts, I feel like most of the tracks feel similar or the same, because they're all mashed together in one giant world, so each of them has less of an identity. I don't know which bits are considered to be on the track and which are more liminal transitionary areas. 80% of the time, I'm just in this malaise of blah Mario Kart. There are some cool areas, but they're rare. I've been seeing all these crazy super duper shortcuts all over social media, and you could argue that this is the skill of the game, and this is how you build leads, and this is how you get good. But I'm sorry, that's lame. That's not the same thing as being in control of your vehicle. That's more learning the courses. That's relying on knowledge of the game that not every player has. It's more like speedrunning shit, learning to exploit the game. And doing these super fancy shortcuts isn't even always better. Like here, I noticed a grind rail to go to the top of this bridge, which you think would lead to this awesome shortcut, but no! In fact, my place is going down while I'm up here. There are grind rails placed in inconvenient spots all over the place, which just serve to slow you down. Battle mode is the same old crap. It's not elimination based, it's points, so it's lame. We're never gonna top Mario Kart DS. And I guess that's about it. Keep in mind this is all subject to change because games are fluid nowadays. They're probably going to add a crap load of stuff to Mario Kart World. And I do have to remind myself that 8 Deluxe as it exists right now is the result of about 10 years of updates. I'm sure in 10 years, Mario Kart World is going to be a more fleshed out game, but the underlying mechanics I can't imagine are going to be all that different. It's still going to be a random dice roll of a game online, and that just sucks. I don't want to play it if that's the case. I was defending the $80 price point whenever this got brought up in my life, because a generation-spanning game that I'm going to be playing for hundreds of hours, of course that's worth $80. Like, whatever. If you get a lot of value out of a game, then I think that's a steal. But I don't think that's going to be the case with me in this. In fact, I feel like I might be just about done with it. All that crazy parkour shit, it's tempting to maybe try to learn to do some of that, but is that going to salvage the game for me? Probably not. Oh well, not the end of the world. It's just a game. Thanks for listening to my shitpost ramble. Goodbye.